YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever you're watching me from. Welcome to my little program today. Welcome to Basement Chronicles Live. My name is Lisa Dublin. I'm a health and life coach, and I help professionals and executives and A-type women to live, to speak, and to lead with confidence. And today, our topic is how to speak with confidence. You guys, I have to tell you something. You know where the title of my program came from? Honestly, like when I really think about it, back in the day, I was really big on Viola Davis and How to Get Away with Murder. And I was like, I'm always also about like how to do stuff, very curious, and also always about personal development. And so please tell me if you can hear me on Facebook or on LinkedIn. Please let me know if you can hear. I'd be grateful for that. In the group, the Diamonds group, welcome as well. And so I named my program, how to get unstuck. That's my coaching program. But this one that I'm talking about is simply called Speak with Confidence. It is the seventh cohort coming up, and it's going to be taking place November 2nd to the 30th. It's a rigorous program. So if you don't have the time for it, that's fine. Sit it out, wait for another one. But if this is your time to get better, if this is your time to, level up your speaking skills, maybe because you're applying for a new job, just got a new managerial position, and you want to perform at that level and to increase your credibility and image in the company. If perhaps you're going as an entrepreneur into the world to tell people about your products and services, then you want to be in the room for Speak with Confidence. And to that end, I will be having a free webinar about the Speak with Confidence program. You can sign up. I think it's everywhere. I must have just put it out on LinkedIn, on Facebook. Definitely not YouTube, and on Instagram. And you can go sign up for free, because in that 1.5 hour seminar next week, Saturday, the 7th of October, I will be answering your questions. You'll get a feel of what it's like to be in the room and what it will be like to be in such a program. But I want to talk to you today about how to speak with confidence. And I actually, ladies, gentlemen, everyone who might be listening, wherever you are, I would love to start with a question. Why do you have to speak? Why? Like, why do you ever have to speak up? Why do you ever have to find yourself public speaking? If you can put your answer in the chat, that would be nice. Why? Where do you ever have to speak? Is it at work? Do you have to speak up maybe at for to change policy? Do you need to speak up at and to speak confidently at perhaps board meetings? Even speaking up, speaking publicly, being able to handle yourself in an interview is very important. And many participants in the program ultimately get that confidence to move on to new things, and so they come back for interview training, and we do the same thing over. Do it confidently, do it authentically, and they always get through with the job that they apply for, most times, like 90% of the time, to tell you the truth. Okay. So, how did you answer that question? Most people, and hi, Instagram, if you're listening, let me know if you're there. I just want to make sure that people can hear me. So do send me a little message. Say, yes, I can hear you. Let me see if there's anybody. Okay. Hi, Rita. How are you? Okay. So most people, if you're listening perhaps at work, and most people on most of the platforms who follow me perhaps are professionals, executives, and entrepreneurs, that kind of thing. Okay, Jimmy, are you in a meeting? Oh my God. Yeah, you have. Oh, you mean that you have to speak up at meetings? Thank you very much. I thought you were saying you were at a meeting. Hi, Ronald. How are you? Good presentation. And I saw you doing your thing at Youth Parliament. And so we find that most people would need to speak up for one of four reasons, and two are the most popular. You will either need to speak to inform, to persuade, to entertain, or to motivate. It's one of the four things. And most times, most professionals and executives find themselves having to do a little of everything, well, except for the entertaining part. Okay, we leave that to Trevor Noah and to those people who that is their purview. That's what they do for a living. We're not here for that. So most people find themselves having to speak to inform and to persuade people like me who are just a little removed as a life coach and speaker, somebody who's doing her thing online and motivating people. Definitely I speak a lot to motivate. When I'm wearing the CEO hat, I'm speaking to persuade people. In a session like this, Basement Chronicles Live, when I'm talking to you about how to speak with confidence, I'm literally speaking to inform as well. And so most people, you have a reason that you need to speak, not so? And I think that's one of the things we forget. Most people get very nervous, get very self conscious. Most people crumble at the point of having to speak because they forget to stay on message. Is that you? Has that ever happened to you? Let me give you a story, my story of when I was back in high school and I had to stand in front of my a new class because when you move to I think the fourth form, it was different classes coming together. And so these were people I was not familiar with. And I had to stand up and recite, even though I was doing it from a book. I had to do All the World's a Stage, that speech from As You Like It. And I will never forget standing in the front of that class with my book. And it was literally like shaking. The book was literally just shaking in my hand because I was so nervous and just so obviously I was 16. Let's not even go there. Okay. At 16, you don't have a lot of experience speaking. I mean, yeah, right? That's the first thing. But if even I had got some training back then, right? And I'll tell you what happened after. But I won't ever forget that um experience of not being able to control my nerves, of being so into my feelings and being so self-conscious that hey, everybody's watching me. I don't know who they are. They probably, these high school girls, they're probably laughing at me. They probably were. Yeah, my school was famous for that, right? All of those things, right? And just having to I didn't do the speech well. That's the honest truth. There's no like fairy tale ending to this. I bumbled through my speech, all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players, and then slunk back to my seat in pure defeat. Has that ever happened to you? And if you are a professional or an executive, can you imagine? Pretty sure these things have happened perhaps on stages that you don't think they're supposed to happen. Perhaps in a board meeting, I've had clients who've come back in tears after board meetings. It didn't go well. They were berated and things were not in place. On the other hand, one of my most recent successes with a client was we've begun to do this work of speaking with confidence, even in private sessions. And she had to do one of her big presentations at work, and she's literally like planning her career and getting more visible in her company, and she took on this role, and it didn't go well in terms of the technology was giving trouble, and things were not in place as she thought they would be. But because she had practiced and done the mind work, had the right mindset of, and like even before her presentation, she and I were going back and forth, like, focus on your message, stay on message. And that got her through to be able to do a wonderful presentation, to the point where afterwards people came up to her. She got invited to other gatherings. When she came into the virtual room, people were like, oh yeah, she's here. And these are the kinds of perks, I guess, and the kinds of things that happen when you show up confidently. So the first reason to speak confidently, and the first way that you do it, is to recognize that you're not just there for good looks. You're there for a reason. You're there to accomplish something, to give a message. And the more you practice and you're able to stay on message, is the less self-conscious and the less afraid and the less nervous you are. Okay. After a while, you become an old hand at the thing and you're able to do it at ease. Just remember the difference between the first time you jumped behind a vehicle to learn to drive I don't know about you, but my dad was the one who taught me to drive. And it was not easy. All right. These first sessions were brutal, right? And uncomfortable. And I learned to drive on a stick shift on hills in my little country of St. Lucia, narrow roads, uphill all the time, especially where I lived. So it was difficult. Now I can drive. I have no problem. Stick shift, automatic, no problem whatsoever. It's the same thing that happens in your speaking journey. If you are nervous now, if you get practice, the know-how, and you get critiqued in such a way that it's personal and customized, and you get better with every practice session, in a couple sessions you are better. That's how it works. One thing that stands out for me is from the first cohort of Speak with Confidence. And you're going to meet some of them on Sunday. We're going to have a special Basement Chronicles Live meeting some of the students. And I'll continue on a Sunday as long as I have the students to be able to come. And, until the program begins in November. And this student was a teacher, is a teacher, and she was beginning her entrepreneurship journey. And so in one of the modules, I teach you how to go live, you get the nerves, you get excited, you get nervous, you don't want to come on, you do it privately, all the things happen. And so she went through all her things. And because her track was to, have her own business as well as continue to be a teacher, she soon after the training began to start going live, and just seeing how it's done, messing up, doing it again, having success, all of the things. And I won't forget what stands out for me is that one time she said, well, I just want to just jump on a live and talk to my people, tell them what's up. And I just marveled at the change that had come because of practice and because of knowing what the process was, right? She was able to now just jump on a live and talk to the people. Can you imagine if that is your story, if that's something you want to do? Or if it's your story to simply just stride onto the platform and get up to the lectern, not the podium, because the podium is that stage, okay? So the lectern is on the podium, okay, folks? just say, okay? And just be able to speak. That can be your reality. All you need is the know-how, all you need is the practice, and all you need is a program like Speak with Confidence. Here's the second reason, and we're going to end. Here's the second reason, and the way that you really get to focus on message. Every time I come on live, every time in my now adopted home of Canada, I stand up to speak, and I'm in one of the provinces where there are not as many people like me. Okay. So every time I stand up to speak, I understand that I am an example to others of what is possible. When I go to schools to speak, and last year, was it February or earlier this year, I had the privilege of speaking at a couple schools and encouraging the black students, even at, and they like what they did in this particular school. All the students came out. It wasn't just the black students. There was an assembly for everybody to commemorate February as Black History Month. And I was very sure and very certain that there were young women, young girls looking at me and, just imagining and seeing an example of what is possible. That is one reason for you to learn to speak with confidence. And that is one reason whenever you stand up to speak and you are on message, that you stay on message and that you have that in the back of your mind. Whether you are a lawyer, the first in your family, standing in court, whether you are a teacher who's combated so much and come back, whatever you are an authority in and you have to stand to deliver, remember that there are people out there who are looking at you as an example of what is possible. And when you think of it that way, let me tell you, a lot of the self-consciousness flies away. Of course, with other things like practice, know-how, all of the things. But you are an example of what's possible. That's what you are. That's what you're meant to be. So when you open your mouth to speak, there's power, there's credibility. There are people, yeah, and you never speak to the scoffers. That is the last thing I want to say. Like, we'll talk about it going further into audience and that kind of thing. But speak to the people for whom you are an example of what's possible. I want to just end with a quote from Alice Walker. And she said this: the most common way that people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. I find that such a powerful statement. The most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. When you have the gift of speaking and the ability to speak confidently, you take back that power. And when people who will look like you, who are in similar situations, who knew your background and now see you emerging, you become an example to those people of what is possible. Why would you not want that? Why would you not want to be the salt of the earth? Okay. Okay, folks. So if you want to know more about the program, you can DM me. Like, you don't even need to wait for the seminar, the webinar next week, Saturday, to sign up for Speak with Confidence. It's a small group, and I like that's it, because I need to give everybody individual attention. I'm very big, I'm a coach. Okay, so speaking coach and life coach. And what happened is when I got my certification in life coaching, I applied those skills to my speaking program so that you get a very holistic experience. And you're going to keep on hearing from my students. Watch my page, make sure you enable my notifications for me for my page and for my account, so that you can see the updates that come. But you are an example of what's possible. So do possible the right way. Learn to speak with confidence. Take advantage of every opportunity to spread every message of hope. And, whatever your expertise is, you deserve to tell the world. So if you want to know more, you can go to lisamdublin.com. And I think I made it my landing page. So you can see about this. You can see information about both the Speak with Confidence program, as well as the free webinar, which happens next week, Saturday. Come see what it's about. You've heard about it, you've seen the testimonials. Get in the room with me where we can talk about it. I'll be answering your questions, not just about the program, but also about speaking in particular, because I have a lot of experience there. I will have a grand old time. So see you on Monday. I'll be back on Monday to do Basement Chronicles Live, tell you more about speaking, share some tips with you, and hopefully get you ready to be in the room with me next week, Saturday, for the free Speak with Confidence webinar, where I tell you more about the program. Take care, everybody, wherever you're watching me from. Thank you for joining me. I don't take it lightly. See you next time on Basement Chronicles. I'm Lisa Dublin. Bye.